Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Spurs Chat Podcast. In this edition, we'll be discussing everything Tottenham Hotspur, the season so far, Ange Postecoglou, the transfer window, and we will also be previewing the big game that will take place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday against Aston Villa. It is 4th v 5th. As usual, I've got three very special guests to talk about all things Tottenham. We have got James Black with us, of course, singer at the stadium. James, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, a bit bored with the international week, but I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm looking forward to Premier League action returning. Of course, we have got channel regular Craig Dearman back with us. Craig, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. An international break that I think we all wanted. It's not one I want to last longer, but it would kind of help us with injuries and stuff. But look, it is what it is. I'm really looking forward to the Premier League being back at the weekend.
And joining us for the very first time, we've got Billy Cairns with us. Billy's very similar to me, going up and down the country, week in, week out, home and away. Billy, lovely to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, good. So I'm actually enjoying the international break. It's give me a little bit of relax from club football. I don't get so stressed watching England.
Well,
I love my country, but Tottenham stresses me more watching them.
I saw your tweet yesterday about Gareth Southgate. You think that he should leave?
He's had 3 chances to win us 3 tournaments, failed in the later stages. I think we need someone to get us over the line.
Yeah.
He has done a decent job getting us there, but his football's boring and he's never got us over the line 3 times.
Billy, let's start the show with you because, of course, you're new to the channel and you're very welcome. Why Tottenham Hotspur for you? Why are you a Spurs fan?
It dates back. It's a weird story, mine. My dad was a West Ham fan. My dad made me be a West Ham fan. My mum split up with my dad. For one day, he made me support Chelsea. I didn't like this person at all because obviously it split up with dad. It said something very derogatory about Tottenham. My friend at school was a Tottenham fan. I asked him what this derogatory word was, which he used, which you can imagine. And he explained it to me. I went home and told him I supported Tottenham. And from that day onwards, I was always Spurs.
Well, I love all the Spurs memorabilia. For those listening to this on an audio platform, Billy is just surrounded by Tottenham Hotspur memorabilia, signed shirts on the wall. Absolutely love it. Billy, we're playing good, attractive, entertaining football under Ange Postecoglou. I just wanted to get your opinion very quickly on the appointment of Ange Postecoglou. What do you make of it in the summer? Because, of course, we went on a 10-match unbeaten run and then obviously lost to Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, lost to Wolves. Most recently, of course, we've got this big game against Aston Villa coming up. But did you see us, when Ange was appointed, that we're 12 games in, we've got 26 points, 2 points off the top place, Manchester City. Surely you're happy with the football so far?
I'm delighted with the football. I can't deny that. Did I see it? No, but I follow quite a lot of Rangers fans from when we went up to Rangers, and I've got a lot of Celtic fans who are friends, and the Rangers fans were begging us to take Postecoglou, and the Celtic fans were like, literally, you can't have our manager, he's that good. And on that basis, I didn't really have a preferred appointment as a manager. I just went, look, the Rangers fans want him gone. The Celtic fans want to keep him. I've got to give the geezer a go. And he came in, he was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
He was down to earth, he was honest. It was like, he's one of us.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's true. I didn't really want Conte to go, but it did feel like he was doing us a favour being at the club. Ange came in, embraced the club, took everything on, took the club on his shoulders, and gave us our club back.
Yeah, absolutely. James, let's come to you. You are responsible for the mood, I would say, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. These last couple of months have been like a party atmosphere. I know we've said about singing the Ange song. Do you want to perform that now?
Well, yeah, I can do it now, man. Yeah, I've had to refresh it because of international break. But I think Ange is more up for the reason why the mood is so good more than me. But I'll take some of it. Let me try and remember it. When I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head. Pochettino is dead. I'm loving Big Ange instead. And through it all, we'll play the way we want to. With Big Ange Postecoglou. Whether I'm right or wrong, it's Big Ange ball. You can keep your Pochettino, Conte and Mourinho, and even Christian Gross. 'Cause everywhere we go, I'm loving Big Ange instead.
Superb.
Thank you.
I tell you, James, that song it is playing everywhere right now, and everyone absolutely loves it. And you do a wonderful job at the stadium. How would you describe the mood change in these last couple of months at the Tottenham Stadium? Because of course you work there every week.
Yeah, night and day. I think the biggest thing for me that I saw was the Man United game. Was the first time I was in a stadium with Postecoglou as the manager, and the fans were so up for it. All we wanted to see, like what Billy was saying, all we wanted to see is like good football. Like wanted to see the football change. So that we only had a draw with Brentford by the time I come to the stadium for that, and it was just night and day. I think we were so busting ready for like going back to the Tottenham way that we was ready to burst. He was the right man at the right time. And yeah, it's night and day, mate. I can't even begin to describe the difference, but I'm sure you can see it. I mean, I get to see it in the concourse and the stadium itself, but the concourse was just so loud. People just singing up and down everywhere before even the game started, and I loved that.
James, because of this exceptional start we had, take away the Chelsea and the Wolves games, what would be a minimum for you now where to finish in the Premier League table? Because of course Postecoglou was brought in to change the brand of football, to change people's attitudes about Spurs, because it's very fair to say a lot of fans fell out of love with the way that the club was going before Postecoglou come in. We're now being entertained on the pitch. For you, are Spurs title contenders? Some people have said that. I don't believe so. Is it all about finishing that top 4 spot? Is it about finishing top 6? Is it just about getting European football, or is it the brand of football that is most important?
But before a ball was kicked, I would say brand of football and top 6 I'd have taken since the start, and then players and how they've hit the ground running, like through from Vicario, Van der Ven, Maddison, how Basuma's improved. I think it's minimum top 4 now. But I really think that's a very...
Top 5 could get us Champions League.
Oh, yeah, top 5, isn't it? Yeah. Does that not depend on how well the English teams do in the Champions League this season, do you know?
I'm not 100% sure, if I'm honest.
Well, Champions League football is what I want.
But I'd imagine we'll do better than... I think top 5... I'm pretty sure top 5 would get us it.
Yeah.
But
for me,
you are right. It does. There is something.
Yeah, because I don't want to be cheering on them guys in South London.
It's more than likely, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah. Well, Champions League football, but I would say top 4 to absolutely guarantee it, I suppose, for me is a bare minimum.
Yeah, I suppose you remember the Chelsea year when they Bayern Munich when you want top 4, don't you? You don't want to be relying.
That penalty shootout, wasn't it? How bad was that?
No.
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
I live in the Chelsea area. I had to live with that.
Yeah, that's it for me. I think that's the bare minimum. I don't think we're title contenders, no. And there's a big difference between the first 11 and the players coming in. So Dyer and Davis at centre back compared to Romero and Van der Ven is crazy difference. So it's depending on who we can keep fit, I'd imagine, and how we buy in January transfer window, which I imagine we come on to.
How many times have all of us Spurs fans said how important the January transfer window is? We will talk about that later on in the show, I promise. Right. Craig, let's get your thoughts on the season so far. What's pleased you? What has made you angry, if anything? This past couple of games, Romero and Udogie getting sent off. Of course, it's caused us problems. We've got suspensions. We've got injuries. That Chelsea game was just a disaster in so many ways. But sitting 2 points off Manchester City at the top, surely you're happy with where we are right now?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said before, I'd fallen out of love a little bit at the end of last season. It just seemed to go from bad to worse, and obviously finishing in 8th, and the summer couldn't come quick enough, and then we was all hoping we'd get a manager in that would turn the club around, and Ange has done just that. And we were told that it might not be right at the beginning. Well, he's hit the ground running, as you say. And it's just been brilliant. The first 10 games are brilliant, and then we saw where the cracks appear is when we lose a couple of people out of that first 11. Like you say, the players coming in, just the squad's not ready yet, and the squad's not right yet. We're nowhere near a Man City level to be able to bring in players off the bench and do the same job in key positions. So there's nothing to be angry about. I'm not angry about anything. It's just an ongoing process that we're going to have to live with these ups and downs, I think, until Ange gets the squad that he wants. It's been an amazing ride since the beginning of the season. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, apart from the last 2 games, of course. But as we said on here before, Romero has to shoulder a lot of the blame for that. He's supposed to be one of the leaders, and he gets himself sent off for petulance, and ridiculous what he did. And the dog is just, I think, what is he, 22? He'll learn from that mistake, but obviously he's cost us there.
Do you not think Ange should have brought your doggy off at half time, though?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I
mean, definitely.
I'm not knocking Ange for
Possibly.
a lot. I'm not knocking Ange for a lot, and I'm not a big Ben Davies fan, but a 22-year-old in a London derby on a yellow card. I mean, not only a London derby, a massive London derby. You're down to 10 men already. He should have made that substitution at half time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Billy. But particularly when that first challenge actually that you got the yellow card for could have very well been a red.
And I mean, Potts learned his lesson, didn't he? His in-game management at Tottenham wasn't always the best. He bought off Levi Colwell, and he should have gone.
Yeah.
You're right. It's easy to say in hindsight because we all think that. Of course it is, but you could kind of see he was going to walk as well, couldn't you? When he was going in for that tackle that eventually got him sent off, that second yellow, you thought, oh, God, that's it, done. No excuses there. He's left the referee no choice. So that was a bad day at the office. But I still maintain, even with 10 on the pitch, I think we would have possibly got at least a draw out of that against Chelsea. I mean, they're a poor Chelsea team. I know they've picked up a few points, but we should have been winning that game. And I think if we had 11 on the pitch, we would have done.
The second goal goes in for some. I've not looked back. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how offside it was. I've just been told it was off, so I've got to accept it. So
tiny bit.
That goes in. We batter them 4-5-0, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We would.
You're right.
We were that on top.
Yeah, 100%.
Billy, someone like yourself who's followed Spurs year in, year out, and seen some good times and seen some terrible times. Glenn Hoddle recently said it's like football suicide playing that high line that Ange Postecoglou played in that Chelsea game. Do you want to see a team really going for it, or would you have preferred Spurs to play for a draw?
And I was a bit torn. I couldn't understand it at the time. And then I went through Twitter and I see a few people's tweets, none of my own ideas, and I sort of get why he went for it. We were damned if we do, we were damned if we weren't. We were down to 9 men. You might as well go out fighting, hadn't you?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if that Dyer goal goes in, then I believe then we have to go back to playing defensive football to try and hold out. But the same thing happens over and over again. When you've got Davis and Dyer trying to hold on to a lead or a draw point, we can see the goal later on.
Yeah, that proved it against Wolves, didn't it? That's just the thing. We were sitting back and back and back, which is not the way he wants us to play. We can see 2 late goals.
But he was under no pressure when he booted that out, wasn't he? For the Wolves goal, for the equaliser, I think it was. Dyer was under no pressure.
There was a few mistakes I felt for that goal. I feel Vicario could have kicked the ball upfield. Then it ain't at Dyer's feet and it don't go out. Then you don't know. They were battering us. But I think the Johnson going off, because we had no outlet, because as soon as Gill come on, he couldn't get past the player. At least with Johnson, he was getting it down to the byline. It was out of danger in their end. Gill was just playing it back. And inevitably, the pressure then mounted. And
Billy, were you surprised? Were you surprised that Eric Dyer is now back in the frame? Because, of course, we bought Ashley Phillips. I said on this show a couple of months back, saying that if ever we had like a bit of a disaster and Romero and Van der Ven weren't playing, would Phillips be in next in line above Eric Dyer? And then, of course, Dyer then come on for Chelsea in the Chelsea game. Dyer then started the game against Wolves. Is that going backwards, or should Ange have put in, one of the youth players or Ashley Phillips who we bought?
I have a theory on it. I mean, just a silly theory. I think if Romero was in the team, I think he might have started. I don't think he trusts him 100% on his own because of his age. I just think he went with the experience. I think Romero could, because Phillips is rapid. He is fast. He's good in the air. Whether he's 100% ready, but alongside of Romero, nurturing him, I believe that would have been better. Maybe he thought Dyer's experience without any other centre halves is the reason he went with Dyer. It's the only get out of jail free card he's getting from me for it.
Yeah. James, let's come to you. Who's been the surprising package of the season so far for you, player-wise? And who do you think that Postecoglou can get a little bit more out of?
The surprise package is Vicario, to be honest with you. I don't think he's lauded enough for what he's done. He's just incredible. I think he's going to be one of the best keepers in the league this season, definitely. He's been incredible. Just watching him, you feel like just safe again, don't you? Remember the glory times of Lloris when he was really good? It's similar to that. So for me, he's been the one I wasn't expecting to be that good. Don't think I was too over the top about him in pre-season. He wasn't that good in pre-season. I think he made a few mistakes, but you sort of hear things out of Italy, like he's one of the best goalkeepers in Italy, and you've got to take a bit of that. And you think maybe he needs a bit of time. But yeah, he's a surprise package for me for how quickly he's gone from that first game of the season. He's been incredible. Some of them saves just world class already. And what was the other one? Who would get a bit more out of?
Who do you think Ange could really work with and get more from?
I actually think Brian Hill, how you pronounce it, he was born to play Ange ball. So I think he's not strong enough maybe for Premier League. There is a bit of that. But the way that he plays, I was excited to see him. And I've not seen him do as well as I thought he would under Ange. But he's only had a few minutes here and there. So maybe him. But I do like Brennan Johnson. I like him, and I think he can get more out of him as well. I like that's Johnson and Kulusevski on the wings. He's actually quite good. So yeah, maybe that left wing position we can get a bit more out of.
Craig, Richarlison. Will Ange Postecoglou get the best out of Richarlison, or can you see him moving on in the January transfer window, or indeed the summer?
I don't think he'll be moving or going anywhere in January unless a ridiculous offer comes in. I so wanted Richarlison to work, but to be honest, I've never been fully convinced by him. I just think it's not worked out for him at Spurs, and I don't think it will do. I hate to say it, but I think we should perhaps just cut our losses, and if a deal comes in for him, sell him, let him go, because I just can't see it working. 2 Premiership goals since he joined us, is it? It's just not good enough. I know there's been mitigating circumstances to a degree of injuries and stuff, but for me, I just don't think it's going to come good for him. I just think it's time he looked to be moving somewhere else. And personally, I know we'll come on to the transfer window. I'd much rather have Rafinha on that side than Richarlison. I think he's a cracking player, but we'll come on to the transfer window, of course. But yeah, I don't think it's going to work for Richarlison. Just sad, because I think he's a good player, but there is a player in there. You're not Brazil's number 9 for no reason, but it's just not worked out for him, and I can't see it working out for him, sadly.
Really, I come to you on the same point about Richarlison. Of course, Postecoglou tried to play him in the middle. Son's now there. He went back out to the left. Brennan Johnson's used to play on the right. He's now playing on the left. Do you think that Richarlison can be a star at Spurs, or do you think now Brennan Johnson is going to cement that place?
I think Brennan Johnson's 100% going to cement that place on the left. I think what James said about a player he can get more out of, the ability-wise, technical-wise, pace. He's got the only thing Richarlison has on him is he does backtrack, helps the defence out a little bit more. But he can't go in January because we're going to lose Son to the Asia Cup, and you're going to need someone to be able to play down that middle, and you may need Richarlison for that.
Yeah. Billy, you like me go to a lot of the under-21 games. Who's impressed you whilst watching the under-21s? Because Donnelly's been on the bench a couple of times recently. Do you think the likes of him are going to get chances under Postecoglou this season?
I'd like to think so. He's definitely got the ability. Whether he's, like I say, he's lightweight like Gill, but I think being English and being brought up in this league, he might be able to handle it better than Gill, in my opinion, in that position. If he was at the Peterborough game, he's crossed for Valise's header when we went 1-0 up. That was an amazing cross for a youngster. And they were against, that's a league team. I mean, not under 21s. And all right, we lost the game. I do think the keeper made a couple of errors, but we missed a couple of chances in that game. But I think they come out of that with credit, that game. The other one, Dorrington's the centre half I like, but Phillips is the one with the experience.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see how the season pans out and what youngsters do get opportunities under Postecoglou. Billy, let's stay with you. Of course, our scouting team recently has changed. Johan Lang has come in from Aston Villa as the new technical director. Fabio Pracci is still working as a consultant with the club. I just wanted to ask you, Billy, because I know you've been heavily critical of the board in recent years. What did you make of the recruitment in the summer? Because it seems that the recruitment in the summer was excellent, but then, as James said, you take a couple of players out of this team, and then we're very weak. I know it's going to take a number of windows, but what do you expect from the recruitment in this January transfer window? What is going to be different this time around, do you think?
Like I say, I can't fault the recruitment in the summer, and if anyone knows me, I did not want Maddison at the club. I had a personal dislike towards him. I never really rated him as a footballer. He surprised me completely.
You've changed your mind now, yeah?
The way he's come in, I've got a Maddison shirt on the way next. He's going up on the wall soon.
He's learning dance.
I've changed my mind. I've done a complete 360-degree U-turn on him. He's come in, embraced the club. He's got the fans, and that's what you want from your players. Players who get you from the heart. You want that. And he's embraced it. And whatever he's done in the past, I've forgiven already. So what do I want in this? I want another centre half. We should, when we sold Sanchez, we should have replaced him. We should have replaced Sanchez with an experienced centre half, even if it was someone at the end of their career. But then with the high line, he was the only one who can play the high line really well. But he did have to go. I'm not disputing that. So,
Billy, regards to what we do in January, do you think the club will operate in a different way to how they've done before, i.e., really backing managers? Because we've seen Pochettino leave the football club. A lot of people felt that he should have been backed. Actually, it's an interesting question. At that time, did you agree with the Pochettino sacking?
I turned Poch out when we lost on penalties to Colchester. And then the Brighton game, I felt the players weren't playing for him. When we lost 3-0 to Brighton a few days after, I've never seen Harry Kane walking around the pitch so disinterested. I just felt he'd lost the dressing room. And I feel with any manager at any club, if I feel the manager's lost the dressing room, I feel they have to be sacked. And I did think that under Poch at the time. So it was the Colchester and the Brighton game and my turning points on the Poch scenario.
Yeah, I remember him well, sadly. James, what do the club need to do to really back Ange Postecoglou in this January transfer window? Because of course we've started the season so well, and I think in some respects, because he started so well, people are going to just expect this week in, week out, us playing entertaining football and have that quality in the team. Of course, we all recognise the likes of, you guys have already mentioned them, Dyer, Davis and co, players that have been there for a long time, players that have gone through a lot of bad times at the football club under various different managers. But what do Spurs need to do to really show the fans that they are backing Postecoglou? Because in the past couple of weeks, Postecoglou's come out in the press conferences and said that he is heavily involved in the recruitment process, which is music to all of our ears.
Yeah, I think there's a few things they can do. I think they can first off listen to him when he says he wants all the business done early in January, because it's a nightmare being done late, and Tottenham are always doing business late on in the window. And the second thing is, if we didn't learn from Fulham in the Carabao Cup, we certainly learned, especially the Wolves game, that big difference between the first 11 and the squad that we're going to need to put together. So like Billy's mentioned, the cover at centre back is massive for me. I think we need someone who can cover that high line. I don't know, they said like Lloyd Kelly, is it, and Tapsoba, maybe, these defenders. Someone who's...
Would you rather in English, someone who's would you rather someone who's played in England, Lloyd Kelly?
I think I would actually, yeah. I quite like that.
I know Mickey Van de Ven's come in and been a revelation, but Romero, yeah. I think with Romero and Mickey Van de Ven, maybe you need a homegrown centre half.
Isn't Dorrington? I've not seen much of Dorrington. You've seen quite a bit of him, haven't you? Is he?
He looks absolutely top drawer. Whether he's ready or not is another matter.
Right. I think I like Tapsoba and Lloyd Kelly, the two that I quite like that have been mentioned that we're going.
I'll be honest with you, I've never really seen Tapsoba play, so.
Yeah,
I'd have to go with Lloyd Kelly because
okay.
just out of the fact I've seen him play.
Right, okay.
So
I've only seen
it's not me being argumentative. It's the fact. I'm not going to lie. I've never seen Tapsoba play.
That's the best way, man. I'm not going to lie either. I've only seen YouTube highlights. You know what I mean? It's just that everyone look. Me and you could look good in one of them.
But yeah, he beat Diego Forlell on YouTube highlights once.
So it's them, and then maybe a striker, someone spending a bit of that Kane money. I'd like to see him, rather than say we've spent it before. I don't want to hear that really. I'd like to see him spend a bit of that. And like I say, the main thing is, if he's saying, I want the business done early, get it done early.
Do you know we've got a different advantage in this transfer window. If we get a favourable cup draw, like a nice home FA Cup tie, we haven't got a game till Manchester United on the 14th in the league.
Yeah,
it gives them literally 2 weeks leeway. Something we never normally have. We've normally got a load of injuries, a spout of games coming up. This time around, they've got a chance to put it right quick.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then a few weeks to settle in as well, wouldn't they? And Manchester United, isn't that one of the only teams that are probably losing more players to AFCON? I think we are. I think they're losing quite a few, aren't they?
It's one of the two grounds I've been to that I've never seen us win.
Really?
That in Anfield.
How many times have you been up there?
Quite a few. I don't know. It's a lot. My first one was in '87.
That game's on my birthday. That game.
We drew 3-0. We were 2-0 down at half time. Danny Thomas gave away a penalty in the very last minute. I think it was Frank Stapleton got up and got the equaliser.
Do you remember was the last game at the Lane? That was Man United at home, wasn't it?
When we won 2-0, didn't they?
I think Rooney scored at the end. I think to make it
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. I'm sure. Did Lloris score? No, not Lloris. Lamella and Kane score.
Kane scored. He did, didn't he? Someone got a header, didn't they? Kane got a header, I think.
Kane got the last goal at White Hart Lane, didn't he?
Was it Kane or was it Rooney? I thought it was Rooney. It ruined it.
No, it's Kane.
See, that was a Rooney documentary last night.
Do you know, it might be. I'm pretty sure I think Kane did get the last goal at White Hart Lane.
Oh,
or was it the last Spurs goal?
Yeah. That's a beautiful picture.
That's a good question. Good quiz question. I'm sure he definitely got the last Spurs goal at White Hart Lane, 100%.
Yeah, I think it was Rooney. Yeah, we got the last goal.
Rooney ruined it.
I think James is right. I think
Anyway, so let's get Rooney in January, and then there's what we
Craig, let's come to you. The guys have spoken out about the League Cup this season, which was a disappointment. You know, some people said, "Oh, it's fine, we'll be out of that, and then we're not in Europe, and then we'll concentrate on the league." You know, people always come up with excuses or ways of making things feel better. But the FA Cup, you know, I've spoken to a number of ex-Spurs players, a number of Tottenham fans, a number of Celtic fans, and they all tell me that Ange will take the FA Cup really seriously. Do you want to see Spurs really go for the FA Cup, or is it all about league competition to try and get us in that top 4 at the end of the season?
I wanted to see us go strong in the Carabao Cup, to be honest with you, and I don't think coming out of that does us any favours at all. I don't care what anybody says. It's not many games. If you really want to blood people later on, then bring them. Don't change, make the wholesale changes Ange made. That's the one thing that I think he did get wrong. Well, I think he's got a couple of things wrong, but the main thing was that game. I think we should have gone strong, but we're out of it, and that's that. As for the FA Cup, I think I've said on here many times how much I love the FA Cup, the history and our history in it. I just want to see us play a full strength 11. We haven't got Europe to worry about, so there's no excuse for that. It's not like we're missing a game because of this FA Cup weekend, because it's an FA Cup weekend. So there's no excuse why we can't go strong in this. No matter who we get.
I said to you, Craig, we've got our mid-season break as well.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
Absolutely no reason, even if we get a tough draw, to go weak.
No, especially
absolutely.
we're missing Basuma, Sarr, and Son anyway, won't we, for third and fourth round? So with that out, we can't. We have no excuse to not go full 11 that's available.
Yeah, it obviously depends on how far those countries get in their respective tournaments, doesn't it? And stuff. It's bloody ridiculous having it mid-season like that, I think. But it is what it is. It's been like that since as long as I can remember. So we've just got to deal with it. And that's why, coming back to what Billy was saying, we've got to get this business in early. You'd like to think that they are targeting the players that they want now and are going to make the moves on 1st of January. However, I've been a Spurs fan far too long to know that's how we don't do business. And we all know Porro was mentioned on the 1st of January all over Twitter. And when did he come in? So you know, I'm not confident that we're going to get any deals over the line early. I'd love to be wrong on that, but I've just too long in the tooth and seen too many January transfer windows to expect anything different. And we're not alone in that, by the way. A lot of clubs are like that, and a lot of you go on Twitter and search for a lot. Fans from other clubs moan and moan and moan. So we're not alone in that. But I just love us to be different this time, because we need it now more than ever. Because along with the FA Cup push, coming back to what you were talking about earlier, I think we've got a real shot at finishing in that top 5. And I think the coefficient will take it down to 5 teams for the expanded Champions League next season. So it's a good chance to go far in the cup competition and get in the Champions League. And if you gave any Spurs fan that a decent cup run and finishing in the top 5, would have bitten your hand off last year. But now the expectations are up there.
Qualifying for the Champions League.
Oh, Billy, I'd take
winning the FA Cup.
I would.
I think the other thing is, like, the way Ange
FA Cup over Champions League football every day of the week.
Me too. And I think the way that he plays in a cup way, doesn't he? That kind of high line, fast football. That is like a cup team, isn't it? That kind of cup football where nothing to lose kind of scenario. Yeah. So I think that is a good cup side, a very good cup side. Do you know what I mean? I can't see anyone, not many teams, and maybe one or two that could beat us. But yeah,
that's it. That's it. I mean, when we won the cup in '99 and 2008. We didn't actually have particularly good league seasons those years. So that the cup wins papered over the cracks there. And obviously the Champions League run in 2019, that papered over some massive cracks between January and May. So, you know, we've all been there. And obviously remember that transfer window, we didn't bring any players in.
We didn't win an away game for a year in the league as well.
Yeah.
From November till Poch was sacked.
When scored the last minute against Fulham.
Fulham, Kevin and Kudu crossed it for him in the last minute.
His tweet, "Hi, I'm still here. Remember me? Remember me?"
Billy, let's come to you. When you talk about the FA Cup and you say you'll take an FA Cup over a top 4 finish any day of the week, the last time we won the FA Cup, 1991, is an unbelievable, ridiculous stat in my opinion that we haven't won an FA Cup in all of that time since Gary Mabbutt lifted it. when you even mentioned the cup game under Pochettino against Colchester. When you've seen in recent years, like Antonio Conte going weak against Sheffield United and losing games like that, how important is the FA Cup to you personally, and how important is it for Postecoglou to take this cup competition seriously for fans?
I think it's absolutely massive for the fans. I mean, he's already won the fans over. If he takes the cup serious, and every Spurs fan loves the FA Cup. Maybe some will turn around and say, "I'd rather Champions League football." I can't be on board with that. I'm sorry. He'll gain so much respect from older Spurs fans, and he's already got our hearts. There's something about the man, and if he does that, that's it. He started off the way we want him to. I can't explain. The FA Cup means everything to this football club. We were the only non-league club to ever win it. Then we up until when we won it, last time we won it, we'd won it more times than any other
record
team.
holders, weren't we? Eight time over 7 or something.
And we haven't won it since then. We've been overtaken by, I think we've been overtaken by Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, maybe. I might be wrong with the Man United, but we've been overtaken by so many teams.
Yeah.
From being that team who won the FA Cup. We were renowned. We were the FA Cup team.
So do you think that Postecoglou will take it seriously and try to go far in this competition? What are your thoughts?
I hope so. I'm not sure our chairman doesn't interfere in these matters, to be fair. And if we're on the periphery of Champions League football or FA Cup, I'm not sure he wouldn't interfere in team selection. I've never not been convinced by that. And it's all about the money for our board, I believe. And Champions League football is where the money is.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because
if they want to win the fans back over, go for the cup. I mean, Sheffield United away last year was and Nottingham Forest in the League Cup were two of the worst away journeys home from cup games in God knows how long.
I mean, there were a lot of
at least Sheffield United. I stayed on a hotel in Sheffield tonight, so the journey home weren't so bad. After Nottingham, we drove home that night. We hardly said a word in the car. It was that. No music, no nothing, just silence, just numbness.
Well, you were in Hooters the before the game, weren't you?
I had to do the chicken challenge. I had to do the chicken wing challenge. That's what I was in there for.
He's looking at the menu, Chris. He's looking at the food.
I did manage to do. I did win my challenge. And I had a nice look around as well.
See, James thought I was joking saying that you were in there. You were in there. I remember seeing it. I wasn't there, by the way.
You took your
James,
son. It was a very wise move to take your son. It was good in there, though. It was good fun, to be fair. It's not like it was years ago.
I've never heard of it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Chris has mentioned it a few times. It's one of his sponsors now, I think. It's...
James, when you look at the players,
he's got a little poster up there.
James, when you look at the players that we've currently got out on loan, the likes of Tonguion Ndombele, Reguilon, Roden, Spence, of course, we've got a couple of youngsters, Troy Parrott and Dane Scarlett out on loan as well. Would you like to see any of them back in a Spurs shirt playing for us again?
And Ndombele, no chance. I think it's going to come a lot of it down to attitude. I think. Well, Postecoglou goes on about, doesn't he? He says about the personality of somebody, and I think that's probably a big reason why a lot of these players are out on loan. You take someone like Jed Spence. I thought he had some great moments, but I think the attitude mustn't be there. So it's a hard one. I think there's reasons for them on loan. Dane Scarlett, Troy Parrott, or Dane Scarlett more than Troy Parrott for me. I'd like to see him come back. Reguilon, no, not really.
He's doing well at United.
Yeah, but he's dipped off again now recently, hasn't he? Had a great start.
He
had a great start with us, didn't he?
But
But then, I mean,
but then United have dipped off. When he's playing in a team that's playing well, he seems to play well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's great going forward. I always had a problem with him coming back. But his attacking play was great.
Destiny ain't the best defensively either, is he?
No, he hasn't, no. He played on the pitch.
He's got to be better than Ben Davies.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So, right, here's your choice: Ben Davies or Reguilon.
Yeah. If it's that, then it's definitely Reguilon. But
well, there is don't forget we've got buyback calls on Dennis Serkin at Sunderland. I don't know how he's getting on there. I'm in the middle of watching in Sunderland until I die at the moment, but I don't know how he's getting on in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not any screaming out to me, if I'm honest. Is the absolute answer. I'd like to see us buy different people. I think he's one of goes for. I think he's changed the attitude in that dressing room by getting these change of like captaincies he brought in and stuff. And I think that's the balance that he takes a lot of is their mind and how they approach the game and how they are in the dressing room. So I think there's big reason. I don't want an old what they say, apple upset the cart coming back. So I think there's reasons for it, and it's beyond football with a few of these players.
I've seen a player we've been linked with. Would you take him, Calvin Phillips?
Yeah. He was brilliant was it the World Cup or the Euros one?
Euros.
He was brilliant, wasn't he? In the middle.
I remember I was at the semi-final with Denmark, and I was sitting actually with a Leeds fan, and he was telling me a bit of stuff about him. So I watched him quite carefully in that game. I thought we had a blinding game.
I do like him actually. Yeah,
He's English. He's English as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we need homegrown quota players.
Yeah.
That's the thing we've got to remember.
And then we're losing Basuma and Sarr.
We're losing Basuma in that position as well.
Yeah.
And also, I believe Højbjerg is personally better going full, more advanced to the defensive role.
Yeah.
Do you not think though, Billy, that's where we're strongest at the moment in central midfield?
Yeah.
We've got Bentancur coming back, haven't we?
Yeah, Bentancur. Yeah.
I don't think they were particularly good against Wolves, though.
Hey?
You know, I think the problems, you can blame Dyer and Davies all you like for Wolves, but I think against Wolves, the midfield let the back four down. So
the pass
I don't think any of them had a good game.
The pass from Højbjerg wasn't that for the second goal was in 96 minute or whatever it was, playing out a quick pass, losing the ball as quick as you did to concede that goal.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you all the same question here. Craig, I'll start with you. What is the minimum Spurs must do in the January transfer window for you to be pleased, and also for Ange Postecoglou to have the right backing in order to try and get Spurs Champions League football for next season? What is the minimum?
I think I'll answer in two parts. I think the minimum is to give Ange exactly what he wants, whatever that is. To make me happy, I think we could do with another forward-thinking player, and maybe move one on. And I'm talking Rafinha, that sort of player. Rafinha excites me. I'm not interested in a swap deal from Romero. Barcelona can just do one on that. Just get Rafinha over the line, and that would be a pretty decent signing. I'd like another midfielder, and 100% a centre back or two. But I don't think we're going to get to. You've got to remember this is just to get us to May from January. And if we consolidate that fifth position or fourth position or hopefully higher, then it will be another big transfer window. But we're not going to get 4 or 5 players in, regardless of what I just said. I think 3 at most. I can't see any more coming in. I mean, if we did somehow get Calvin Phillips, even whether that be on a loan, Rafinha and a centre back in, whether that be Kelly or I don't think they'd let him go, to be honest, in January. But there was another one. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. It was the Crystal Palace lad, Gahey. I don't know if he signed a new contract. Now, they ain't going to let him go in January. So you've got to be looking at these deals that we might not be aware of the player's name even. You might have to do a Danny Rose
what about,
Googling on them. But
is Kilman still available at Wolves, or has he signed a new contract? We were linked with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we've been linked with him a lot.
Yeah.
I like Neto at Wolves.
Neto in Saudi now.
Is he? I like.
That's
Neves.
Neves. Sorry. I like Neto.
Yeah.
Neto, yeah, I'll take Neto. I'd 100%.
I'm saying it's Craig as well.
But Neto or Rafinha,
Yeah.
Either one of them two.
Brilliant.
I wouldn't argue pros and cons. Just get one. If there's one of them Ange identifies, that's the one he wants, go get him.
One of the things the way I look at it is if there's an injury to a certain player, how much are we going to drop in form? And one thing that we're not really thinking at the minute, because thank God there's no injury, is Vicario. I think like that if that changes to Fraser Forster, there's a big jump there. So maybe a backup goalkeeper coming through would be good as well. But anyway,
I think the young lad Josh Keeley, plays for the under-21s. From what I've seen of him, he's just utterly sensational. I know Billy and Chris know more than I do, but everything I've seen of him.
The other one, Gunter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen much of him.
I was going to ask you guys actually, but Billy, with the Valise in under-21s, how's he been? On Chris,
I don't go as many games as Chris.
All right.
I'm hoping we go through tonight, so I can get to another one. But I think he looked well. He took his goal really well, strong in the air. Like I say, the cross from Donnelly was immaculate.
Right.
And Valise, he out-jumped 2 league centre half. So I think he's a good player.
Would you like to see him in the FA Cup with no Son, or would you like to see Richarlison, or would you like to see someone brought in?
Is Richarlison going to be fit?
I don't think he's going to be, is he? Is he start recuperation?
I'm not sure how long he's I know he's had his surgery, hasn't he? I mean, they've done it at a good time, but
I don't think he's going to be too long. It might be before Christmas. I could be wrong in that, but you might have him back. But
I would like another forward player. I mean, we sold Harry Kane. We didn't replace
exactly. Got 80, 90 million or whatever to play with there.
We didn't replace him. I would have liked Ivan Toney, but I think from things I've heard that's probably off the table now.
What about that Martinez, the Inter Milan guy? When he linked with him at some point, he's pretty decent.
That's Martinez. Yeah, I think he must be. We've linked with him every summer for the last 20 years. I think
he's our new Dominio, isn't he?
Jean-Pierre Papin, remember that?
It sounds like you three are playing FIFA. We'll have him.
Yeah.
I want that one.
I do think Rafinha and Neto are gettable. I don't think Martinez is. So Tony's obviously gettable. It's just on the price, isn't it? Because he's only got 6 months left on his deal.
Yeah. There's still a new contract, isn't there? With Brentford.
Has he signed one?
Well, there's talk of it that that's been put in the mix now, but I don't know.
But then if you offer him the right wages, right deal, get in there early, Tottenham, Brentford, you would imagine Tottenham would be a bigger pool than Brentford.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't always work that way with us, does it?
No, it looks like Arsenal and Chelsea are in for Ivan Toney anyway. Billy,
if Chelsea are in for him, they'll get him.
Yeah. Billy, I wanted to ask you about Viles, because, of course, we signed him in the summer. Ange Postecoglou said originally that he didn't think he'd use him in the first half of the season. He's had a couple of sub-appearances. James mentioned there he's played for under-21s a number of times. There's now reports stating that he may go out on loan in the January transfer window. James also mentioned about him possibly playing it in the FA Cup. Is that us weakening the team by starting someone like that in the FA Cup? Or is it a good move for him then to go out on loan in January?
I don't think loaning a player you've just brought in, and when you haven't got any strikers, is a great choice at all. Unless they've got a striker up their sleeve.
Yeah.
They're loaning him, not to imagine they've got something up their sleeve. I hope they have.
Yeah, it's going back to Rafinha. Rafinha can play through the middle. He did play through the middle for Leeds a couple of times.
I mean, he does play a fluid front three where they interchange, don't he? Doesn't really have an out-and-out striker. There's another player we haven't mentioned, and he's in the Saudi league. He was with him at Celtic. Jota. He ain't getting no game time.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Yeah.
I wonder if we could test Bayern Munich's resolve and get this Harry Kane, I think his name is. I wonder if he's banging a few goals in. Be nice to put in a bid for him.
Who's the best striker in the world, apparently, now?
Well, we've known that for 10 years.
Tottenham, he's become the best striker in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Craig, let me come to you. The Times newspaper broke a story earlier today stating that Tottenham are now facing serious allegations of breaching transfer rules over Jermaine Defoe's move to Portsmouth back in 2008. Apparently, former West Ham and Spurs player Mitchell Thomas was a central figure in Defoe's move. He, at the time, was an unlicensed agent. Now, Daniel Levy, Defoe, Redknapp as Spurs manager at that point, all dealt with Thomas during that deal. FA regulations, as they are today, stipulate that the players and clubs are not allowed to use unlicensed agents to complete deals. What do you make of this story coming out today? Because they're stating that breaching FA rules could lead to points deductions, suspensions for directors, or even a transfer ban. Is it right that something so long ago should now be brought up?
Yeah,
Do you think
the
Daniel
cynical
Levy might
part.
have asked us to gas himself up just for the transfer ban? January coming up.
The cynical part of me would mean to think that is the reporter that broke the story an Arsenal fan or something like that, or is this Everton leaks? It's nothing to do with that. The guy who's been investigating it has been investigating it for quite a time,
Yeah.
from what I'm led to believe.
Paul
And I
Merson,
listened to that.
I think he's a Chelsea fan. I think I see someone in
is
the
he?
WhatsApp group saying he's a Chelsea fan. Sky Andrew's well, we all know about Sky Andrew. I don't like talking about him. He hates us.
It was on TalkSport earlier, and I heard it back after the event. But they are serious allegations, and they went through what happened to Luton. Luton were deducted 10 points, I think, and there was another team as well. And it was a minor breach. I mean, to me, when they read out what happened to Luton, it was kind of a minor
Leeds
thing.
had a similar thing, and they were
Leeds, that
fined
was
for
it. That was it.
60 or 70,000 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, these historic things. I mean, obviously, you see people getting prosecuted
Can you imagine
for things
Luton's
from
lawyers,
years ago,
Luton's
but
lawyers
you know,
compared to Tottenham's lawyers?
yeah, I get
City's
that.
lawyers compared to
Yeah. I mean, these are all they are allegations, isn't it? I mean, it's not. They haven't said we've done anything wrong, but they're saying that they're still looking for the proof, if you like. So there's no proof to say that we did anything wrong. Was that agent named on the paper? Was that Mitchell named on the paperwork? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but it does seem a bit, you know,
to be fair,
2008.
who's going to remember a lot about a transfer that happened 15 years ago?
I don't know how long they keep paperwork for. I mean, how long do you keep information for?
Yeah.
It seems like they must do.
If you go back 15 years, right, then you have to start looking at everything from there. You wouldn't be able to, you open up a whole can of worms there. And
Billy, do you think that?
How many times did we actually sign Jermaine Defoe?
Yeah. Billy, do you think that it was fair giving Everton the points deduction this week?
Considering Chelsea and Manchester City haven't been points deducted or given them, no, I don't actually. I mean, if it's a president, and that is then City and Chelsea have got to be deducted points for similar offences.
Surely their punishments are going to be so much worse.
Hopefully relegation.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? I mean, 115 charges or whatever it is for City. And can I just ask a question, Chris, to everybody? I'll ask you a question for once. If they turn around and said every single title, every single trophy that Manchester City and Chelsea won, dating back to say 2013, right? They're expunged from the records and they're giving it to the runners-up, i.e., Tottenham would win. What was that? What were we in the Carabao Cup final? And we win.
Carabao. If that happened, we have 2 Carabao Cups and 1 league. I couldn't celebrate it personally.
Nah.
Would you celebrate? Would you take it?
No.
Of course we would. We'd take anything.
But it's all about the moment, isn't it? It's about the moment, that final, the exhilaration.
It is.
And exposure.
It is, but exactly. Flip it the other way, James, right? If playing this thing from 2008 and they take away our Carabao Cup from 2008 and they give it to Chelsea, right? How would you? Me as a Spurs fan, I think, well, we actually, regardless of this Defoe thing, we still won the cup.
Yeah.
You'd still think you won the cup, but on
Yeah,
paper,
It's
it would be
nothing, man.
Chelsea. So it's
happen.
ridiculous even talking about it. But
Also,
you know,
also, Craig, I don't know if you know, when it happened in Italy with Juventus, and they relegated them, they didn't give any of the league titles away.
that's
Right,
right. Yeah.
And
It's just written from history, isn't it?
And I personally think, the one with James, it's all about the moment. It's gone.
Yeah, that's it. You can't go. You're not going to arrange an open top bus parade.
Open top bus and go around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second
Although to be fair, if they did, I'd turn up for it. Because
I'll probably turn up for it, but I feel like a West Ham fan singing Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that.
I'll be mad. I'll be writing about 3 or 4 cup final songs ready for like going back and
yeah,
back to that.
If Chelsea are relegated, we're having an open bus parade then.
Mate,
that would be better than giving us a trophy.
That one's definitely allowed.
Yeah.
But what are they? You know, what can you see? I mean, even if Man City are found not guilty of half their charges, they've still got 50 hanging over them. I don't know what these are, by the way, but Christ Almighty, something's got to happen, surely, because they'll be uproar, won't they?
Like I say, they've set this precedent unless it's just a cynical side of me. They've gone for Everton first, give them a 10-point deduction, set a precedent. Manchester City and Chelsea are now, we've got no choice but to take this action against you, because we can't give it to one team, not the other. Maybe they're going around it that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
the difference is with the difference with Everton. I think they admitted wrongdoing, didn't they? So they admitted it, and that's why it took only 6 months to sort out.
Given over all the information about Chelsea.
Isn't there a new company that's going to do this?
A Chelsea fan. He told me, he said, I expect a points deduction. Todd Bowley actually handed over all the evidence when he took over the club.
But isn't there a new company that's coming to do this, and they're kind of like sort of sweeping, showing what they can do a little bit, showing they can sort of keep a clean house. Do you know what I mean? There's a new company.
Yeah, it's Trotter's Independent Traders.
Fromage fry.
This used to be such a professional podcast. It's gone way downhill.
That's what happens when you invite me on, Chris.
Billy, let's come to you. Of course, it is the big game on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Aston Villa. It's fair to say that Aston Villa have been in fine form, as have Tottenham. Rob Jones will be the referee on Sunday. Jared Gillett will be VAR. James Manwaring will be the assistant VAR. It's 4th v 5th. Emery has done a wonderful job at Aston Villa. 8 wins from 12, 3 defeats. Their defeats were all away at Newcastle, Liverpool and Forest. What have you made of Aston Villa so far this season, Billy?
Strong team. I haven't really watched that much of them, if I'm honest. But what I have watched of them, decent. I mean, we can't play Dyer and Davis against Ollie Watkins. We're going to need someone with some pace. That's where I think we've got to play Ashley Phillips. I'm going to go left field. I'd go Phillips and I'd put Emerson at right centre back. I'd have them both out, because I think Emerson can definitely play there, and he's old. He's got the experience, and Phillips has got the pace to deal with Watkins. Midfield, we're stuck for options, aren't we? We've only got Sarr. We've got maybe Sarr, Basuma.
Maybe Bentancur.
But Basuma's was suspended.
I meant to say I'm sorry, I meant to say Bentancur. Sarr.
Yeah.
I'd go Højbjerg as a more creative outlet, because I prefer him in the position he plays for Denmark. And the front three just picks itself. It's only Son, Johnson and Kulu, isn't it?
Billy, do you think it's time to bring Rodrigo Bentancur back? Because, of course, he's been out for the last 8 months with an ACL. He's gone off on international duty, which some Spurs fans were really worried about, saying, why has he gone off there? You know, he's got some game time with his national team. Is it the time now to start him back in the team?
I think starting and see how long you can get out of him, and then bring him off when he's tiring, because we need to start this game strong. It's a must-win game for us after losing the way we did to Wolves. The Chelsea one was a freak of. I mean, there was something like 9 or 10 VAR incidents in that game.
Crazy.
I mean, I just felt I was forever just looking at a VAR screen.
Yeah.
So
on that, did you see that? It was quite interesting on that. They said about, obviously we were at the game, or most of us at the game. It was so frustrating and so almost laborious at times. But people watching it on telly, because they were getting communicated with, said it's one of the most exciting games ever because of this like communication of what's going on the whole time. But you're at the stadium, it's horrible, that sort of thing.
It's hot. You just don't know, do you? It does, yeah. I thought VAR coming in would be a good thing, but I'm totally against it now. I mean, my pin tweet's still VAR, my lord, but
maybe offsides and goal line I'd keep. And
can I ask all three of you that if you had the choice to now remove VAR altogether, you either have it or you don't, would you remove it?
I'd remove it, yeah.
Depends if you can keep the goal line technology.
That's a different thing, I think, isn't it?
James, for clear and obvious offsides, and goal line technology,
and the rest leave up to referees.
Because at the end of the day, it's subjective anyway. I mean, first game of the season, that was a penalty, but it was never clear and obvious.
No,
we got given against Brentford. That went to the VAR.
But it's still human error and interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah. So you might as well just leave it as it is.
I'm the same.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd do? Well, the goal line technology is flawless, pretty much. I'd keep that. That's a bit separate to VAR anyway. Personally, I was a fan of VAR coming in, but I think it's just become an absolute car crash a lot of the time. So for me, I'd strip it all back, take away incidents leading up to goals, looking at everything. It just slows it all down. Is the ball out of play? I think you should leave that to the on-field officials, and if it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. And until they can do automatic offsides that is as quick as a referee looking at his watch and seeing if a ball's crossed the line, then I think they need a complete reset on it, because it takes that instant celebration away. Because you celebrate a goal and then, you might get to celebrate it again, but then you could get let down if it's disallowed. And for me, I've watched a couple of games where there's no VAR, and it's obviously a throwback, but like you've got it just flows a lot more, and it's just not flowing enough for me. So unless it's automatically done, and there must be ways, we've got the technology to do it, chips in the ball, chips in boots, whatever it is, and go with that, so it's instant.
Well,
strip it all back, I've
got one, for instance, for you last night. I was watching the England game. I went to the toilet. I heard we scored. I walked in. I see Grealish. He's offside. I went back to finish my toilet, come back, and they were still debating it on VAR. And I'm thinking, it's clearly offside. I only looked for a second, see 1-1, see Grealish, see where Grealish was, offside. Went back to the toilet.
And we're going to Billy now, who's coming live from the toilet.
It was ridiculous, that one, though, because you could see instantly how far he was offside, couldn't you? You could see. Unbelievable. Just got to cut that out.
Also gets back to what we were saying before, but football's about moments, isn't it, with your mates, and them glorious moments of scoring, and now you just don't know what to do, even at that moment.
Sun moment, when Sun scored, we were jumping up and down. And then all of a sudden VAR's come in. It's taking that away.
Yeah.
What was the on-field decision for that? It was goal, wasn't it? The linesman didn't have his flag up, did he? Yeah.
No, I think that was one he didn't put the flag up for. So I'm quite lucky where I'm quite lucky where I sit in the stadium, because I'm direct in line with one linesman and I could see straight up for the other.
We loved it at first. We got that first with the Sterling goal in the quarter final. Spurs fans loved it for a bit.
That's still my pin tweet from coming out of Man City singing VAR, my Lord, VAR.
Yeah.
I will never ever take that down. And
that was my screensaver, was that VAR disallowed for about 2 years.
That was a good moment. That was a very good moment. I tell you, there's so many fans were going out the stadium, kicking the seats, very angry and everything. And then, of course, that happened. It was a brilliant night.
Do you remember the interview with the Man City fan? And he said, how do you feel you're knocked out? What do you mean we're through? He walked out the stadium. He didn't even see the fact.
Yeah.
He didn't even see the fact that it was disallowed. And he was like, his face had dropped and everything.
Maybe keep that aspect of it then.
Guardiola on his
moments
knees.
like that, it is entertaining, but you want the right decision at the end of the day, and I don't think they're getting a decision. Remember the Man United one? The game ended, and then they went back and gave them a penalty against Brighton.
No, after it ended. No, I don't remember that.
The referee blew the final whistle against Brighton at 1-1. They went back and gave Manchester United a penalty, which United scored, and they beat Brighton 2-1 after the whistle was blown.
Different rules, though, Billy, for some of these teams.
Exactly.
That's definitely Fergie time, isn't it? That's
yeah.
I mean, all right, we got away with it. But the thing is, us fans are getting vilified for this Liverpool decision. I admit it was a farce.
Yeah.
It is Liverpool. Sodom.
Yeah.
How many they get away with year in, year out?
They used to call them Liverpool, didn't they?
The thing is, we know that obviously we're all celebrating, and obviously we all wanted the 3 points in that game, but we all know that, you know, what comes around goes around, and we all know that we're going to be on the end of that, which we have been. So yeah, it's such a shame that it is a talking point week in, week out about VAR rather than actually talking about the quality of football in the Premier League, and that's exactly what it should be. James, let's come back to you. The team news ahead of Sunday's game. Of course, Romero is still out suspended. This is his second game. He'll also be out for the Manchester City away game. Van der Ven is out. Maddison's out. Basuma suspended. Richarlison's out, as is Perisic, Solomon, and Sessegnon. Udogie is back. We've spoken about Bentancur. Could Lo Celso possibly be given an opportunity? Because I've got to admit, I try to be as positive as I possibly can about Spurs players, but Lo Celso, for me, ever since signing for Spurs, just has never grabbed his opportunity.
No, I wouldn't like to see Lo Celso playing. I'm the same as you. He's not grabbed his opportunity. I'd much rather see Bentancur than Lo Celso. He's had his moments. I think they put up, didn't they, Spurs today? That second goal against Man City when he just come on. He's a great player, and I've seen him play international. He was great, but no, I wouldn't like to see him start. No way. I think there's a big gulf between him and Bentancur and what it means to play for Tottenham as well. And that moment you see when Bentancur come back, when he goes over to the fans and they're singing his song, and just that how it makes him feel, that passion, that is just night and day with someone like Lo Celso coming on and just picking up his wage. So no, I definitely wouldn't want to see him. And I like Billy's idea at the back with Phillips and Royale. I like that idea, because I'm a little bit concerned on Watkins. Is it Douglas Luiz?
They've got a strong midfield. McGinn.
Yeah, McGinn, and I'm a little bit concerned with Villa and how they've been playing. So there's a few of these players that I'd want to see who really want it. And I think you can put Højbjerg in that. I think his passion's there, but Lo Celso, no.
I'd prefer Højbjerg, like I say, in the Denmark role, playing that little bit further forward. He's definitely got it in his locker. I mean, remember Kane's 267th goal? It was set up by Højbjerg with a great pass.
Yeah. And that goal in the Champions League.
Sometimes also he's got a great shot on him. I think if he just was a bit more composed with him on the edge of the box, he could score some screamers.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Højbjerg.
There's something about Lo Celso. He's got all the skill, he's got everything, but is he made for the Premier League? A bit like what you saying about Gil.
Yeah, I would sell him. He wants it enough. Yeah, I would sell him.
I would sell him. Yeah, I would sell him and Gil.
They're on about selling him, aren't they? Because of an injury, and is it Barcelona's injury or something?
It's nothing against him. It's just he's a sellable asset, and we need more players. And we know how our clubs run. We know I don't like the way our clubs run, but as being a sellable asset, get the money in to get someone in who Ange is going to use and have full faith in.
Craig, let's come to you. Obviously, we've read out the team news there. What team do you think that Ange Postecoglou will go with for this Aston Villa game? Because it is a huge game. You know, after two defeats, the way that we've lost both games, you know, that Chelsea game, an absolute disaster at home, and then losing to Wolves in the dying seconds. You know, we've got to get back to winning ways. It's going to be a very, very tough game. What team does Postecoglou go with?
I totally agree. I think I would like to see, of the options we've got, Emerson and Phillips centre backs. I don't sadly think we will see that. I think we're going to see Ben Davies play. Whether it's Eric Dyer or not, I don't know. I just wonder whether he's going to stick with them two, or at worst drop Dyer and bring in Emerson. I don't think we'll see both changed. I think it'll be Porro and Udogie, and it will be Sarr. I think he's got probably no option but to start Bentancur if he's ready, and Højbjerg, and then the three we've mentioned before up front. The squad's kind of down to the bare bones.
Whatever one he has to bring off. Don't forget we've got Skip, and then you've got Lo Celso. It depends on how the game's going. He can rotate.
Yeah.
If Bentancur can't finish the game, and if he is playing further forward, you can bring him. Put Lo Celso on, or if Højbjerg's playing further forward, you're going to bring Højbjerg back and put Lo Celso on as a more forward player. It's all right. Or you've got Skip, and then you just go with a sort of steady midfield.
When you said earlier though about the experience with say Ben Davies and Eric Dyer, it's unlikely, isn't it, that Phillips is going to get a chance in such a massive game like this?
Well, apparently he limped off the England under-19 game tonight anyway, so it's even more unlikely. But it was, I agree, it is unlikely, but I just think you need someone with pace to deal with Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
So at some point, we've got to give these youngsters a chance.
Yeah. But don't forget, in January, we could have Reguilon coming back and Tanguy and Ndombele.
I think the Reguilon deal depends on United if they want to keep him. I don't think we've got a say in that.
Who's been on the bench? Who's been on the bench from the under-21s recently? Is Dorrington and
Donnelly?
Donnelly were all on the bench on Saturday. I'd imagine Valise was. In saying that, I would have 1-0 up late on in the game. Bringing on Valise, holding the ball up, would have been probably a better option than bringing on Gill, thinking about it.
Yeah. He doesn't.
Craig, let me come back to you. Any Aston Villa players, do you think any of them would get into our starting 11?
I think John McGinn's a great player. I think John McGinn is a great player. I think he'd be pushing, and possibly Ollie Watkins, because he could probably play anywhere across the three, even though he's a striker. Other than that, on paper, possibly no. I couldn't, but then again, I'm biased because I'm Tottenham. Douglas Luiz possibly, yeah, he's a good player. But I used to like the goalie actually, the Argentinian. I can't remember his name.
Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez. That's it. Thank you.
I like the goalie.
But give me Vicario any day over him at the moment. So Ollie Watkins. I still don't. I mean, watching him play for England, he had a couple of chances, and I thought Harry Kane would have buried them. Yeah. So he's not quite there yet. He's been playing well in the Premier League without a doubt, but he's not quite there yet. He's still learning. So it could be. But the experience of Davies and Dyer, I know I'm trying to dress it up a bit, but a bit of experience there to deal with Ollie Watkins. It's going to be a tough game regardless, isn't it? I mean, I think I'd be more confident if we had our strongest 11, and we all know what that is pretty much. Then I think we could turn over anybody on our day. To be honest, that's how confident I am with that first 11. But we all know, and it's proved, we haven't got that first 11 every game. So we've got to try and manage and fight our way through to January until the injuries start easing and we can get some players over the line in the transfer window. But it's going to be tough now, between now and New Year. It is going to be tough. There's some easier games on paper, but the next few weeks, we've got Villa, we've got Newcastle, we've got City, we've got West Ham. The game, they don't get any easier over the next month. So, yeah, we've just got to get through it, and that's it. If we're still top, Brighton away, yeah. If we're still in that top 5 hunt, top 4 by the 1st of January, then I'll be thinking, okay, we can have a good go at this. But there's a lot of games to get through.
I've got 4 final questions for you all, and they're quick. Billy, let's start with you. Where you think Spurs will finish in the league table at the end of the season, the score prediction for Sunday, how many players you think will sign in the January window, And do you think Ange Postecoglou is the man to deliver a trophy at Tottenham?
I believe Ange is the man. I can't say how many players we're going to sign. I would hope 3. Like I would like 3. I'd actually like 4, but I'll be realistic and go for 3. I think we can win on Sunday because we're at home, and Villa's away form is a little bit wayward. What was the other question? Sorry.
Where do you think we're finishing the league table?
If we get through this period, we will finish in the top 4. If we get through to January, if we get at least half the amount of points of games we've got, I believe we're finishing in the top 4.
What about you, James?
I think 4th. I think I'm actually with Billy. I think we'll win on Sunday. It is a massive game, and I'm impressed with Villa, but our fans in Rome are incredible. That atmosphere at that stadium's incredible, and I think that's going to play a part. And I think we'll win on Sunday. I think we'll sign. I want at least 3, but I think we'll sign 2. And what was the other question?
Could be 2 with 1 with a view to a loan with a view to a buy. Remember.
I was going to say, James, I think the atmosphere is all on you. It's how you G the fans up before the game.
Bless you. No, I mean, Tottenham fans are the best fans in the world. You got to give them something. I think for me, it's our Ange has been. He's just such a lovable guy. But yeah, bless you, man. What was the 4th question?
Right, so it was where we're finishing the league, the score prediction, how many players will sign, and will he deliver a trophy?
Oh, will he deliver a trophy? Yes, definitely. I really can see that. And the FA Cup this year is a dream, but yeah, I think he definitely will deliver a trophy. I think he's learned straight away, like from the Spurs fans, what it meant to go out of that Carabao Cup, and I think he heard that loud and clear. Hopefully that comes to fruition in the FA Cup, but next season as well. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to deliver a trophy.
Craig, do you remember my most favourite saying that I haven't said for a long time? The trophies are coming. I said that Pochettino would deliver a trophy. I said Jose would deliver a trophy. I said Conte would deliver a trophy. I haven't said it about Ange. I'm not putting any pressure on him.
No, I do think I'll come back to that question. I'll come back to that one. I think we're going to finish 4th because I'd love to know. I don't think it's going to be any lower than 4th. I really don't. That might be me being optimistic, but to finish obviously above 4th, you've got to finish above Arsenal, Liverpool and City. And it's going to be a tough ask. And we hate to admit that, but it's going to be tough this first season under Ange. So, but I would take 4th now. I think we're going to just edge it Sunday 2-1. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think we'll just edge it. What's the other one? The Ange question. And what was the other one? Oh, the transfer window, wasn't it? I'm going to be boring and just repeat what the other guys have said. I'd love us to get 3 or 4, but I think it'll probably be 2 at most. And is Ange going to be the man to bring us a trophy? I've had a feeling since he came in, since the first couple of weeks, that there's just something different. There's just a different feeling. And it's not just this feeling in me of enjoying watching Tottenham again. It's just something, and I can't put my finger on it. It's just something different. And it's not just the Robbie Williams song that James brilliantly wrote, that Robbie Williams didn't give him any credit for, which really annoyed me on Twitter. It's not just the islands in the stream. Every time I listen to that and somebody's done the mock-up of Tottenham, it's a combination of everything. I think something just feels different with this guy over Conte Mourinho, and we're not even mentioning Nuno. It's got Pochettino vibes, but in some ways better for me. Because right at the beginning of Pochettino's era, I didn't really know much about him, much the same as Ange, and I didn't really feel the change that Poch made as versus the change that Ange has made. So it just feels different to me, and I think good times are coming, and I think Ange is going to be the guy, as long as we stick with him, that's going to get us a trophy. So it's just something different in the air for me, and it's a good one, good feelings.
He definitely needs to become a little bit more savvy, yeah. And his in-game management change a tad. But this is his first job at the highest level. He deserves some slack because he seems like he's the sort of person who'll learn quickly.
Yeah, you say it, Billy. Two points off the top of the Premier League table after 12 games. That is a fantastic start for us, I think.
I think Spurs fans will give him time because he's the way that Tottenham are playing.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win on Sunday. I'm going to go for a 5th league position. I hope that Ange Postecoglou is the man to deliver a trophy. I think that we are so overdue a trophy at our football club, and the fans really do need it. Transfer window, I hope that it is at least 2 real quality signings that are really going to improve us, starting 11 or game changers from the bench. I think that is absolutely key. Billy, you've been a great guest. Thanks so much for coming on. Where can people find you on social media?
Billy the Year 70 on Twitter.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And Craig, thanks so much for coming back. Where can people find you?
Always a pleasure. At Dearman on Next. If you want to give me a follow, that'd be great. Just something I just thought of, and I can't remember how old Fraser Forster or Hugo Lloris is. I'm guessing around 32, 33. But let this sink in. Apart from those two, because I don't know exactly how old they are, none of the current Spurs squad were alive last time we won the FA Cup. That has got to change. That has got to change.
Yeah. James, thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Geeing up the Spurs fans for hopefully a fantastic atmosphere and a win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Where can people find you? And are you gonna sing us out?
I've got nothing prepared. Sorry, man, to sing you out. So, where people can find me, I'll be playing at White Hart Bar, level 5, block 525, pre and post game, and social media. So all the Voice of Spurs across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the big ones. Yeah, but I haven't got anything planned. Sorry, mate.
No problem. You do enough singing. Yes, that's absolutely fine. Well, Billy, Craig, James.
What a great debut from Billy. That was amazing. Do you know what I mean? Best debut since Danny Rose, that goal against them.
We love the input. Billy. And hopefully you can come back on again and talk about more Tottenham wins and us sitting in the top 4 and getting Champions League football. Because I tell you what, I've really, really missed European football this season. I really have.
I'm quite lucky. I wouldn't have been able to go to any of the games for personal reasons this year. So, but I have missed it, I've got to admit. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get European football back next season. Billy, Craig, James. Gone after Christmas, so.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. And until Sunday, we will see you again on the Spurs Chat Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Okay.